Everybody wants to be seen. Everybody wants to be heard. Everybody wants to prove they're doing something, but the truth is, the loudest one in the room is usually the one doing the least. You don't have to talk about what you're building when you know what's coming. You don't need to announce your grind when you're living it every single day. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strategy. When you stay quiet, you stay dangerous. You become unpredictable. You stop giving people the blueprint to your success. Because when you talk too much, you let people into your process who were never meant to understand your purpose. See, silence gives you focus. It's hard to hear your inner voice when you're surrounded by noise, every opinion, every comment, every distraction pulling at your attention. But when you learn to shut the world out, when you stop explaining yourself, you start hearing yourself. That's when you realize that the answers you've been searching for were already in you, waiting for the noise to die down. You start thinking clearer, working smarter, and moving sharper. The world starts to feel slower, but your mind feels faster. That's the power of silence. Everybody wants to post the process, show the progress, and talk about what's coming next. But let me tell you something, real power moves in private. When you're really locked in, you don't even have time to talk. You're too busy becoming. You're too busy evolving, growing, learning, and perfecting. You're too deep in the work to need validation. You don't need to convince anybody that you're serious when your results will prove it. You don't need to talk about your grind when your success will speak volumes. The problem with talking too much is that it drains you. You start spending more time trying to sound motivated than actually putting in the work. You start measuring your progress by who noticed instead of what changed, and that's dangerous because you'll begin living for attention instead of growth. Every time you explain your goals to people who don't share your vision, you weaken your fire. They'll tell you it's impossible. They'll tell you to slow down. They'll talk you out of what you were born to do. But when you stay silent, you protect that fire. You let it burn quietly, steadily, until one day it becomes undeniable. There's a reason seeds grow underground. There's a reason the roots form in the dark, because that's where strength is built. That's where growth begins hidden, quiet, unseen. And that's how your success should be. Stop announcing your every move. Stop needing everyone to understand your journey. People don't need to see your process. They need to see your results. You owe nobody an explanation for why you're grinding. You owe nobody a preview of what's next. Just show up when it's time. Let your work reveal what your words could never explain. The ones who make the most noise are usually the ones trying to distract themselves from their lack of progress. They post every day about what they're about to do, but they never actually do it. Meanwhile, the quiet ones, the focused ones, are putting in the work day and night without applause, without an audience. They understand that success is not built on noise, it's built on discipline. You can't talk your way to greatness. You can't post your way to mastery. You've got to build in silence, sacrifice in silence, and struggle in silence until the results make the noise for you. When you learn to stay silent, you take back control. You stop reacting to what everyone says and start responding to what really matters. You stop needing to defend your goals because you know where you're headed. You move different when you're focused. You stop competing with people and you start competing with your old self. You stop talking about it and you start living it. Silence sharpens your edge. It builds hunger. It forces you to depend on your grind, not your words. And when the moment finally comes, when all the work you did in private finally shows, you won't need to say a single thing. Your success will say it all, because in the end, silence isn't about being unseen. It's about being undeniable. Too many people are wasting their energy trying to prove something to the wrong audience. You're showing your grind to people who don't even clap for you, explaining your dreams to people who stopped dreaming a long time ago. You keep looking around for approval, waiting for someone to validate your effort, when the truth is validation doesn't build character, consistency does. You don't need them to see it, you don't need them to understand it, you just need to keep doing it. Because at the end of the day, the people you're trying to impress aren't paying your bills, they're not waking up for you, they're not grinding for you, and they don't feel your hunger. You do. The moment you stop chasing approval is the moment you start walking in your purpose. See, purpose is quiet. It doesn't need a crowd, it doesn't need likes, shares, or recognition, it just needs your commitment. But when you build your confidence on other people's applause, you give them control over your progress. Every time they stop clapping, you stop moving. Every time they criticize, you lose focus. That's because your worth was tied to their reaction instead of your vision. You'll never be free like that. You'll never grow like that. Freedom comes when you realize that you are already enough without the noise, without the validation, without the permission. You are the proof. Your work, your growth, your progress, that's all the validation you'll ever need. You don't have to tell people who you are. Just keep showing up. Keep putting in the work when nobody's watching. Keep building in silence until your consistency becomes undeniable. When you're consistent long enough, the same people who doubted you will have no choice but to respect you. But if you waste time trying to convince them, you'll never have time to improve yourself. The goal isn't to be seen, it's to be unshakable, unstoppable, unbreakable. Everybody wants to be recognized, but few want to earn it. Recognition means nothing if it's not backed by work. Some of you are too focused on how you look doing it instead of how well you're actually doing it. You want to post the moment, not live the moment. You want the quote, not the grind. You want the reputation, not the repetition. But the truth is, success doesn't come to those who talk about it. It comes to those who commit to it even when nobody's paying attention. You have to be okay with being unseen for a season. You have to be okay with being overlooked, underestimated, ignored. That's where you build strength. That's where your real confidence grows, from knowing who you are without anyone needing to tell you. Stop looking outside for what you're supposed to build inside. The reason you feel empty sometimes is because you keep feeding off opinions instead of purpose. You keep checking for approval instead of alignment. But when you start focusing on yourself, on your improvement, your peace, your goals, you start realizing that the people around you don't define you. The likes don't define you. The attention doesn't define you. What defines you is what you do when nobody's watching, how you carry yourself when you're tired, how you keep showing up even when it feels like nobody cares. You don't need to prove them wrong. You just need to prove yourself right. That's the difference between validation and conviction. Validation says, I hope they see me. Conviction says, I don't care if they don't. Validation fades when the applause stops. Conviction grows even when you're standing alone, so stop begging for acceptance. Stop waiting for someone to call you great. Start acting like it, start building it, start living it. Because when you finally realize you are the proof, you stop chasing people who were never meant to understand you, and you start chasing the person you were meant to become. You don't have to announce your worth when you're walking in it. You don't have to convince anybody you're destined for more when your actions already show it. Keep working, keep growing, keep proving it to yourself, because when your consistency becomes your confidence, you'll never need validation again. You can't focus on yourself when your energy is scattered everywhere. You can't grow when your peace is being drained by people who were never meant to walk your path. Some of you are losing your fire because you keep letting the wrong people hold the matches. You tell your dreams to people who laugh at them. You share your plans with people who secretly hope you fail, and then you wonder why you feel stuck, why your motivation fades, why your focus feels heavy. It's not that you're not capable, it's that you're surrounded by too much noise, too much doubt, too many hands pulling you in different directions. Protecting your energy is not selfish, it's necessary. Your mind is sacred ground, your peace is power. And if you keep letting everyone have access to it, don't be surprised when you've got nothing left for yourself. Not everyone deserves to know what you're working on. Not everyone deserves to hear what you're dreaming about. Some people are only in your life to distract you from what's meant for you. That's why sometimes you've got to go missing. Sometimes you've got to disappear to get it done. You've got to isolate not because you hate people, but because you love your purpose. It's hard to focus when your circle is full of confusion. It's hard to build when you're surrounded by people who don't believe in building. Some people love you, but they don't understand your mission. And if you keep explaining it to them, you'll waste time trying to convince instead of trying to create. Stop expecting everyone to get it. Stop trying to make everyone comfortable with your calling. You were chosen for your vision, not them. Protect it, guard it, feed it, because if you let just anyone around it, they'll poison your belief with their fear. There comes a point when you have to stop letting people drain your focus. You can't fix everybody. You can't carry everyone with you. Some of them aren't meant to go where you're headed. You've got to have the courage to say no, not because you're cold, but because you're clear. You know what you want, and you're not willing to trade your destiny for distractions. Every no you say to someone else is a yes to your growth. Every time you cut off a toxic connection, you make room for peace, clarity, and strength. Don't feel guilty for outgrowing people. Don't feel bad for protecting your energy. Growth requires separation. Maturity requires silence, and success requires focus. When you start protecting your space, you start noticing how powerful your energy really is. You start realizing how much lighter you feel when you're not carrying other people's drama, other people's opinions, other people's negativity. You start waking up with purpose again. You start hearing your thoughts again. You start moving with intention again. That's what happens when you guard your circle. You get your fire back. You get your focus back. You get you asterisk back. And understand this, not everyone who's quiet is distant. Some of us are just in a season of building. We're not ignoring people, we're investing in ourselves. We're not cutting people off out of pride, we're cutting them off out of peace. You've got to learn how to be okay with that. You've got to be okay being the one who disappears for a while, because that silence, that focus, that solitude, it's where you evolve. That's where your next level is built. Don't be afraid to walk alone for a season if it means walking in purpose for a lifetime. Protect your peace like it's your paycheck. Guard your focus like it's your future, because it is. Every ounce of energy you save from chaos can be poured into your dream. Every distraction you remove gives you back time, clarity, and control. And when you finally protect your energy long enough, you'll realize that peace is not the absence of noise, it's the presence of purpose. There's something powerful about letting your results speak for you. You don't have to tell everybody what you're doing. You don't have to convince people to believe in you, because when the time is right, your work will make the announcement for you. The ones who talk the least usually have the most going on. They're not busy showing off, they're busy showing up. They're not obsessed with being seen, they're obsessed with becoming better. And when the grind is real, when the discipline is deep, the results will always make the noise you never had to. You've got to understand that talk is cheap, but execution is expensive. It costs something to be consistent. It costs something to be disciplined when no one's watching. Anybody can start strong when the lights are on, but it takes another level of hunger to keep going when nobody cares. The real ones aren't chasing attention, they're chasing growth. They're not addicted to being noticed, they're addicted to getting better. Every day, they wake up with one goal, to outwork who they were yesterday. They don't post it, they don't brag about it, they just do it. Because they know the world respects results, not words. Let your work create the noise. Let your consistency build your credibility. Don't worry about who's not paying attention right now. Don't worry if nobody's clapping for you, because when your results hit, when that breakthrough comes, they won't be able to ignore it. People remember results. They forget excuses. You don't need to explain why it's taking time. You don't need to prove why you're moving different. Just keep your head down and stay locked in. Because when the world finally sees what you've been building in silence, they'll realize why you disappeared. Most people fail because they can't stay silent long enough to let their work speak. They want to be celebrated in the middle of the process. But success doesn't work like that. You've got to embrace the seasons when no one's noticing you. You've got to find strength in being unseen. That's where your power grows. That's where your craft sharpens. That's where your character builds. The results you want don't come from being loud. They come from being consistent, from being patient, from trusting that all the late nights, all the sacrifices, all the small steps are leading somewhere big. You don't need to prove them wrong with your words, prove them wrong with your life. Let them doubt you, let them overlook you, let them laugh. Every minute you spend trying to defend yourself is a minute you could have spent improving yourself. The best response to hate is success. The best revenge is elevation. You don't have to shout back when you're leveling up. Your results will do all the talking for you. They'll say what words never could. They'll silence every critic, every doubter, every voice that told you that you couldn't. And don't get it twisted. Silence doesn't mean stillness. Just because they don't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. Growth happens underground before it blooms. The foundation is always laid before the structure is built. So while they're laughing, while they're talking, while they're wasting energy trying to be seen, you're stacking bricks, quietly, patiently, faithfully, because when your moment comes, they won't even know how to respond. They'll think it was sudden, but you'll know it was years of silent work finally speaking. When you let your results do the talking, you take the power away from opinions. You stop living for applause and start living for purpose. You stop performing for people and start producing for yourself. You move different. You walk with quiet confidence because you know what's coming. You don't need to yell about your greatness. You just become it. You don't need to explain your path. You just walk it. And when it's all said and done, your silence will echo louder than any speech because the proof will be standing right in front of them. Your results